Hey, it's Kat of Kattalestv, and I am not in Los Angeles. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but I've been away for a couple of months now working on some goals that I wanted to accomplish. Let me just talk about it real quick. I have an eBay channel or site, and it's Kattalestv with a 0 at the end, and I'm selling very unique items. Right now I have a very cool vintage jacket circa 1970s, 1980s. It's a snow lion. I call it like a pumpkin orange parka, and the inside of it's like mustard color, and it's got those great huge pockets on the chest as well as below the waist, and it has all those like hidden pocket. It has a hidden pocket in the back, the Velcro sleeve thing. They don't really make jackets like they used to. So anyway, I have that up on my eBay thing right now. I found a Ralph Lauren houndstooth tweed multicolor brown with black and blue threads in it. It's a gorgeous, I believe it's a 42 regular, but anyway, it's on my eBay thing, and I made like a video montage of some of the things I'm selling. It's on my Instagram, which is Kattalestv. And then the other big news is I have merch now. I'm going to show you some of the merch items that I have up on Redbubble. So I'm going to include that in this video. But right now, I'm actually going to make some chocolate chip cookies, which I promised I was going to do a long time ago. When I did that Khabib and Cyborg win does Dana White lose video. That seems like ages ago. Let me just say this. There's so much stuff happening in the world. Crazy stuff. By the way, the Parkland shooting situation, and I just want to say, I don't normally feel comfortable talking about some of these tragedies right when it happens, because I think sometimes people try to monetize it, and I am very sensitive, and sometimes I don't want to show you how I actually feel all the way through when something so traumatic happens. There's a couple of videos I've done that I've never even shown. I was at the first Women's March in LA, and I met this woman who was sitting on the ground because her feet hurt, and she had taken her feet were all swollen and stuff, but she thought it was so important to be there. And I never showed you guys that video because I broke down. I'm not gonna do it now. I just think the world's going nuts right now, but maybe it's always been this way. I don't know. But again, I don't normally want to show that. Oh, I didn't know I was going to cry. Anyway, these are the worst tissues ever. I got them at like a dollar store here or something, and they're the worst. There's a difference between the 99-cent store and the dollar store, but that's a whole nother story. So getting back with life in general, we live in a world where if you actually have real emotion, it's not necessarily honored. People make fun of you, or they think you're, putting on airs or something, or they just don't want to hear you because they're not used to getting, they're not used to people listening to them. I see that a lot. And also with the stuff that's going on with YouTube right now, with like, people doing these drama videos and everyone having a nervous breakdown, and then you have the sociopaths making money off of very unfortunate things. I just don't think it's cool. The people that are actually trying to create really good content, unique content, I don't know if we, and I include myself in that, I don't know if we get the credit that we deserve. Sometimes when you're the most obnoxious and you have the most hits, and you're bringing in the most dollars, you're going to get the most attention. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best. And also with my life, I love freedom in more ways than one. But working for people that aren't in alignment with, like, you know, certain things I believe in, just like human decency and trying to pay people fairly and treating people with respect, it gets very difficult. So what I'm working on right now is just different streams of income, so I'm not dependent on, you know, an employer per se or an agent that's selling my pictures for 25 cents, you know, and I'm just not making enough money to survive. It gets real weird because, like, I don't know, sometimes you tell people that you work with, I'm an independent contractor, by the way, when I shoot. When you tell them the truth and you say you're not making enough money to survive, I don't know if it's just me, but they don't respect that fact. And they keep selling your stuff cheap. And they keep hiring people that are abusive and just foul people. And so after a point, you just say, you know what? They're not going to change, so let me change. Let me get my S together. Let me have different streams of income and try to build those up. So I'm not dependent on these people who don't listen or respect me or respect my talent. And that's what I'm working on. I would love to go to Washington, D.C. to walk with the March for Our Lives. It's coming up in later in March. And, you know, the thing is like the agency that I work for, they don't think that kind of stuff sells. And they're not going to support me doing it. And I'll tell you something. Over a year ago, I told my agent, I said, hey, you know what? This Russia thing, I told him it was going to be a huge story. And that I wanted to go to, like, Washington or Virginia, where they're having some of those court cases with Manafort and stuff like that. I wanted to go there and cover it because I said, this is going to be huge. And they're like, no, it's not. And look at it now. It's crazy right now. Stuff is finally coming out. And if you know anything about my timeline, either on Twitter or on my blog, Kattalestv.com, you know, and my YouTube channel, how long I've been talking about Trump and his the people that have helped him go to power. And the irony of ironies that people let him get away with so much. They give him a pass, and they give his family a pass. For instance, today I think on Twitter, I read something about Ivanka was being interviewed while she was either on her way back from the Olympics or while she was in the Olympics, and her face looks great. I think she had some work done in Korea because they do really great skincare and great plastic surgery. But anyway, the reporter asked her about her father and the accusations that women said that he, you know, sexually assaulted them or the misconduct allegations. And she's like, as a daughter, I don't think that's an appropriate question. I know she didn't do it with a British accent, but she's so hoity-toity that I just think, what the hell. But she's over there. She's got no security clearance. Her husband's got no security clearance. They're touching, oh my God, top secret information. And the husband's broke. His 666 building in New York is in debt, like billions of dollars, if I'm not mistaken. And this MF has secrets that he could sell to the highest bidder to get out of debt. I mean, when you talk about the possibility of having people who could use their positions of power in an illegal way, I have never seen something so obnoxious than this family and how they have no regards to the rule of law. To me, it's like a mob. It's like a gang. And I hope they're going after them on multiple fronts, and I hope they get charged with RICO, under the RICO Racketeering Act, where they take all of their, everything they have, and they use it against them. In other words, RICO is like if you get charged with or found guilty with RICO, they literally can fine you 3 times more than the norm, and they can like take everything you have. And to me, that's what these people deserve. So anyway, let's move on from that. The other issue is trying not to get so involved in Trump's little games of drama and trying to make people upset. I'm trying to read this. The thing is that he really gets off to people being shocked and offended by him. You know, and so I've made a decision. I'm going to try not to respond to his retardedness, because it's almost like, and please don't be offended when I say retardedness. I'm making fun of his choice to be that way. Going back to what I was talking about is that he wants a reaction like a really bad child. And every day he does something and we react. And he loves it because he's got everyone talking about him on social media. So I just said, you know what? I don't want to play this game anymore. You know, it's like, how would you treat an unruly child? A really bratty, obnoxious, possibly dangerous child? You'd have to punish them. And I hope law enforcement, in regards to like the Mueller probe and everything that's going on with Manafort and Gates and all these other people, I hope that is able to do it. But this man is not qualified to be president. He doesn't have the personality traits. He doesn't have the empathy. He doesn't have the love and respect for the law. He just doesn't know decency. And the idea that we should arm teachers, that's insane. Absolutely insane. I did a video a long time ago called America's Love for Guns. It's on my Daily Motion channel, Daily Motion, Kattalestv. You can look it up. I don't know if it's on my newer YouTube channel. But anyway, I talk about America's love of gun culture and how we have movies that glorify gun violence, and we have video games, stuff like that. I believe that people should have the freedom, you know, to enjoy their entertainment, but I think we also have to be mindful of like, what are we promoting? And what's America's top export? It's military weapons. We are a killer nation. So is it any wonder that, you know, you have some kid who's mentally ill, depressed, playing with BB guns, white. The cops don't really do anything. They let it kind of slide until, you know, he decides to kill a bunch of people. You know, it's crazy. The other thing I want to say that I noticed is our society is very weird. We don't take care of victims equally. The people of color don't get the same love as other people do. You should check that out. Like, I'm gonna come back because I have to put this in the oven. So hold on. So anyway, I put it in the oven. What was I talking about? Yeah, I noticed that we don't give the same amount of attention and compassion to people of color when they're survivors of violence or suffer the consequence of violence. And some of our own people turn on us. And I say us because I was a victim of a violent crime. And, you know, it's like there's a part of our culture who, like, they want to just make fun of the victims and exploit the situation, and then like if celebrity is involved with it, God forbid, the celebrity for the most part is innocent, and there's people who will run to protect them and, you know, make fun of the victims. That's what's going on with the Parkland students right now, is that unfortunately they're knowing what it's like to be abused by the media and by, not to say the media, abused by people that are using the situation to push their agenda. There's a lot of trolls out there that are, you know, trying to push discord. And these young people, I don't like calling them kids because I think that's rude. These young people are having to mature in a very quick time frame and deal with a traumatic situation that's crazy. It's like being in the Vietnam War for them. And all I can say is I have a lot of respect for them. I think they're bright, some of the most articulate young people I've heard in a long time. And I tip my cat ears to them because, you know, they gave me some hope. Everyone's not like Logan Paul. And actually, these kids are, sorry, these young adults are younger than Logan Paul. But yes, and another side of the thing is Flint, Michigan, and the water crisis and how long that's been going on, and nobody seems to want to make a difference, you know. And Puerto Rico, what's going on in Puerto Rico, I don't know. People of color just don't get the same love. We gotta do something about that. So what else I want to talk about? Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about UFC? Let's talk about UFC. So you guys may have known I went to UFC 25 thing with, you know, that pre-fight thing with Khabib and Ferguson and the other people. And then I was all over the place on the video, and people were like sending me pictures and video, whatever. I thought that was so funny. No, I didn't have press credentials. I just happened to be in Boston. I lucked out. But, you know, Dana might not like me because I tell the truth as I see it. And you know he's pro-Trump. And also Joe Rogan is a trip. He promotes people on his show, and I call it promoting it. What was that? Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson and Milo and Alex Jones. I remember Joe Rogan talking about how he thought Alex Jones was just funny. Ha ha. You know, that he's a great thing. And it's like people who thought Trump was funny like a couple of years ago. It gets to the point where it's not funny. It's mental illness. And you have somebody with a huge following promoting someone who's like twisted. And I don't know if I got my story straight or not, but I think Alex Jones, something happened with his monetization on YouTube. If that's true, cheers. But the garbage these people peddle, and like Joe Rogan trying to act all innocent about, I don't understand how this gun thing happened in Florida. Meanwhile, Joe is so pro-guns, and I forgot what that poker player guy's name is. It's always on Instagram, and he's always got like hot chicks, and he's always got his guns. Come on, Joe Rogan. Quit trying to act like you care. You know. God, I don't know what's up with these people. I think they only care about their own wealth. They don't give a fuck about anybody else. And they pretend to be something so they get lots of followers. And even if the people that follow them are dregs, they're okay with that because they're making money. But I don't really like it. And especially if you're going to say that you're like this martial artist and you respect martial arts, you should have some type of morals or honor. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? That's just what I think. So anyway, let's talk about Khabib. So, I met Khabib after going to that UFC thing. I took like a subway, a couple of buses, and then I walked like I don't know how long to go there. It was like those stories you hear from people. I walked 1,000,000 miles to get to school when I was a kid. But literally, it was cold as okay? But I did it anyway because I thought, I'm in Boston. I mean, fate put me here, so I might as well go all the way. So anyway, I thought Khabib was a lovely person. He was very gracious with all the fans. I had a really good time. Actually, two of the people that I sat next to at that UFC thing, the night or the day before or whatever, went to the event, so we kind of hung out there. But yeah, Khabib, if you haven't seen that other video, I'll link it to the end of this. But I had taken pictures of that UFC event, and I wanted to give one to Khabib, and I asked him which one he wanted, and he was like, I don't want the one with the other guy, because, you know, Ferguson was holding up his interim belt, and Khabib didn't like that one, because it was Khabib, Dana White, and Ferguson. But Khabib liked the one where he's doing this, and he's like, Dana's behind him. So I gave him that picture. That was fun. But like I said, I like him because he's a different type of fighter, and he's just got a killer instinct. And I look at fighting and some fighters as a meditation of how I can do business better, or how I can, you know, handle opponents better. Because you have opponents in life all the time. You know, people that are against you, or people that are maybe, you know, trying to take your business away from you, or guys harassing you, whatever. And you have to use your brains, and you have to use different tactics to win. So I look at martial arts in the way of learning, like anything, but I like his ethics and his, I don't know if the word's ethics, but I like the way he works out, and he's a very interesting person. And he looks, when I look into his eyes, he's a killer in the ring. And I appreciate that. So cheers. And I hope that I get to go to an actual real UFC fight. You might be able to help me out with that. You guys buy my t-shirts. There's a Kattalestv clock that I think is just great. You know, I like lobster, so there's lobster shirts, and there's lobster spirals, and there's a lobster, all kinds of stuff you can buy. And I also have a graphic design thing called Love Circles. So if you don't like a picture of me on your shirt, you can get other things. But I appreciate the fans of Kattalestv. If you like what I do, and if you want to help support me, please go to my redbubble.com site. I'll put a link at the bottom of this. And check out my merch. But there's lots of different things you can choose from. So pretty much that's it. I'm waiting for my cookies to finish. I'm so hungry. I didn't eat breakfast really today. I'm starving. Cold weather makes me hungry. But yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, I barely, you know, it sucks. I don't really read the comments on YouTube because there's a lot of trolls. If you want to hit me up, contact me via Twitter at Kattalestv. So peace. Don't forget to check out my merch. I'm going to put it at the end of this video.